Okay, greetings.
Greetings.
Here with Dr. Joe Diruzzo. More information about the optimal human experience. Take it away, Joe.
Alrighty. You know, so Paul, remember in S, they used to say, so Fred, or so it was an unspecified verb and it tended to induce a trance because they go so, and you go, your brain goes, well, so what? Well, with prenatal reimprinting, many of these healing patterns, and I really like to think of them as healing patterns, they recapitulate, the natural order over and over and over again. And when we talk about rapport deprivation sickness, let me tell you about how I identified rapport deprivation sickness. I think we have this recorded somewhere. But I had a gal came in and I was practicing acupuncture and Chinese herbs, and she was not feeling well. She had migraine headaches. And when people have migraine headaches, they characteristically have a liver gallbladder involvement. And in Oriental medicine, in five elements, acupuncture theory, Chinese medical theory, traditional TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, when people have a disturbance in the liver and gallbladder, they'll have kind of gray-green as their complexion. And she walked in and she was as green as a Christmas tree. And I gave her acupuncture on liver 3, source point for the liver, and gallbladder 40, source point for the gallbladder. And she felt a lot better. Took a deep breath as the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems balanced out, and she started to feel better. She looked more healthy, pink complexion. And she said, thank you so much. She left. I said, I'll see you in a week. She came back in a week. She was as green as a Christmas tree. She had migraine again, and she wasn't feeling well. Acupuncture, same points, Chinese herbs, everything was great. She got better, made a significant noticeable improvement right then and there. I said, okay, I'll see you in a week. She comes back in a week. She's green as a Christmas tree. I said, is there anything in your body, is there anything in your life that's upsetting you? Anything making you angry? And she said, no, everything's fine. Other than the fact that I'm going through a divorce, everything is just great. Well, needless to say, the emotions of anger and frustration and liver function, gallbladder function, and the digestion of fats and essential fatty acids, et cetera, that was the problem. But it was significant in that it led me to just simply observe the overall effect of being stressed in a really horrible way on a consistent basis for quite a while. And so it disturbed her lungs, large intestine, stomach, spleen, heart, small intestine, bladder, kidney, gallbladder, liver, thyroid, adrenals, pituitary, gonads, everything. And that brought me to the concept of rapport deprivation sickness. They were out of rapport. And so when you look at people and you look at people in our workaday world, how many people are out of rapport? Well, divorce now is hovering at about 50%. 2 generations ago, it was almost unknown. Now it's about 50%. How many people are out of rapport with themselves?
Wow.
And I'll say to people, when you get to the point where I'll say it to salespeople, when you get to the point where you go to that last big sales meeting in the sky and you look back at your life and your career and you see, obviously, you didn't achieve the production, the productivity, the success that really was yours to claim, that you had all the inherent mechanisms. Are you going to be happy? And they'll say, no, I'm not. Well, I ask everybody, if you look back at your marriage and you realize you could have done much better with your marriage, you could have achieved the optimal human experience or close to it. And you look back and I say, are you going to be happy with your performance? Most people will say no. So all of these techniques are to achieve the optimal human experience, to restore the natural order. And I will have people go in a guided fantasy to begin healing rapport deprivation sickness. We begin healing rapport deprivation sickness. We begin the healing of rapport deprivation sickness. I have people just imagine your mother's laying on her side in bed, and she's pregnant with you, and you're in her tummy, and dad comes, he lays down behind her, and they stick like spoons, right?
Okay.
His front is against her back is against his front, and you're in there, and you can tell the difference because your mother may have weighed 120 pounds, but your father probably weighed 150 to 175. And the combined weight of them together gives you an increase of thermal mass. And thermal mass has thermal inertia, right? It means that that mass is not going to change its temperature all that easy. And he put his arms around her, and she felt warm and protected and content, satisfied, happy, satisfied, and content. And that is the physiologic optimal for the prenatal state. So we're working with the optimal human experience. Let's recapitulate the optimal human experience as we would find it in nature. And so if you want to take just a moment, close your eyes, put your head down, and imagine, and it doesn't take a second to get into that state. Just imagine your father's laying there, your mother's, they're nestled together, and they have such a thermal mass that the temperature is stable, and the physiology is stable, and the homeostasis is stable. And there you go. It begins to take the pressure and the stress off of the adrenals, off of the lungs, large intestine, stomach, spleen, heart, small intestine, bladder, kidney. It actually begins to make me smile, because I did it just during that moment. I imagined what that would be like. And the next thing you know, it puts a smile on my face, because it is the what?
The optimal human experience
The optimal
in that period.
In that period. And so if you do this every night for a few nights, and you begin to do it like a meditation, for a long time, I sought for a meditation that would begin to replicate the physiology of the optimal human experience. And this is one aspect of it. And you have no idea how I slaved, how I suffered, how I worked. And
Oh, you poor thing.
all you have to do is, when you lay down, just imagine you're in the prenatal period, and dad comes in and he hugs mom, and they're in love, and her glucose and carbon dioxide and blood urea nitrogen and serum glutamic oxalic transaminase and serum pyruvic oxalic transaminase, and all of the many internal chemical variables all normalize and head toward the
optimal human experience.
Optimal human experience, yeah. And this is not a fiction. This is for real. This is for real. You will have a certain blood chemistry when you are in the optimal experience, and it will be relatively unavailable if mom is stressed out of her mind and things aren't working right and everybody's out of rapport, and so on and so on and so forth. So we recapitulate the optimal human experience neurophysiologically, physiologically, and we begin the process of healing the entire system, which is to say, to return it to the natural state, what Mother Nature designed for us. And that's the healing process. Very simple.
I was just about to say that.
Very profound.
Very good.
Very
good.
simple, very profound. This is it.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Doc.
Well, I'm Dr. Joe Diruzzo with Physiologic Healthcare and Prenatal Reimprinting and the Optimal Human Experience. And we may never meet, but I want you to know I wish you the very best. I'll do the best I can to put a smile on your face, and I hope you achieve the optimal human experience.
All right, then. That's it. We'll see you next time.
How was that on a scale of 1 to 10?
Hold on.